Hey everyone, I have a really fun video for you today. It's all Easter and spring, and it's with my very good friend Corie from Crafted by Corie, and I'll tell you more about her in a few minutes. So first we're going to start off with some of these wood bunnies from Dollar Tree, and I painted all three of them in Folk Art Whispering Wheat. And then I am going to give them a little bit of a shadowing effect, and I don't pay any attention to this paint that's already on there and the paint next to it because I tried something different, I didn't like it, and I just ended up going over it with the Folk Art and Antique Wax because it was really weird. The paint combination I made it look purple, so that wasn't going to work for me on this particular project, at least. Nothing to say there's anything wrong with purple, but not with this one. I don't want my bunnies to have bruised ears and feet. So once I've done that, I'm going to take some of these little Scrabble tiles. I got these from Walmart back at like Valentine's Day. And we're going to spell out every bunny welcome. And when you're doing this, make sure you use some wax paper instead of a piece of Post-it note. Sometimes I just grab whatever is nearby to, put something on, paint, used to dab paint off. You know what it is. It's just like whatever's nearby that you can use. But I am just going to glue all of those letters together. And I'm thinking I'm showing you every single one of them. I'm not really sure why I thought that was a good idea, but that's okay. You get to see the cuteness that are these little letters. I know they sell them in various other places, but like I said, I got these at Walmart right around Valentine's Day. I saw Savannah from Savvy Crafts with Savannah, goodness. And she had some of them, and I thought they were too darn cute to pass up, so I'm glad I got them. And I just barely had enough ease. I used every last one. For a second there, I thought I was going to have to like draw an extra line on an F, but I was able to find all the letters I needed. And who knows what I could make with the rest of those letters now. So once we've gotten all of those together, we're going to actually paint this little crate from Dollar Tree with some more antique wax. You know how it is, guys. We love our antique wax. And I will also be using like the baby wipe method. I wanted it to be a little bit darker. I didn't want it to come too close to the color of the bunnies. So when I was doing that, I was like, well, I'm still going to use my baby wipe because it's so much faster and easier. But I don't want to wipe away as much of the stain, if that makes any sense to you. So I do not bother doing the inside because we are going to fill the inside with some stuff that's very Easter-esque or spring-esque, depending on your preference. And then once we're done with this, eventually, and I thought about whitewashing it too and kind of just decided I just was going to leave it the wood color. So now that this guy is done, we're going to take our bunnies and we are going to start to put them together. Now this idea kind of came from Chic on the Cheap's channel. She did something similar with some pumpkins, which I did towards the very, very beginning of my YouTube world. And it was really cute. And even my husband was like, oh, I liked those pumpkins. So I wanted to do the same thing with the bunnies. So we're just going to glue them all together. And on here, I actually used this Gorilla Glue. It's very similar to E6000. It sets up a lot faster than E6000. Like it doesn't require that 24-hour, wait for it to hold on to anything, but it still needed the hot glue. So I am going to still do that. And I'm sorry, this is going to be some wonky angles and stuff because, the bunnies are kind of big. If you hadn't seen them yet in store, they're a little bit big. So once we've gotten them all glued together, I'm going to go ahead and add my letters. Now, because I did this at such a strange angle, the first one, it kind of ends up like not even, but not angled. You know what I mean? Like it's that weird in between. So I was like, oh, well, we're just going to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the same way though. I'm going to use the Gorilla Glue in combination with the hot glue and then get any excess glue that kind of seeped out around it. So I do that for each one of them. And now we're going to add our yardstick kind of thing. So I'm using a mop handle from Dollar Tree and I broke off the end of it and I kind of bent it around with pliers, and it was such a weird way of doing it. I couldn't really get it within the camera angle, so you'll have to take my word for it. If you have a pair of pliers and you buy one of these, it's really easy because you don't even bother trying to saw it if you're doing something like this. So I am doing some, on this one I am doing E6000 just because I wanted, I don't know, I wanted it to not hold as fast, if that makes any sense. But because I wanted to be able to move it around a little. And then we're going to take, there you go, okay. It's like, am I taking that glue gun? Am I not taking that one? We're going to take the glue gun and we're just going to coat that mop handle like as thoroughly as possible. Oh, and by the way, I did attach my little crate to the bottom of my bottom bunny, same way I did with the letters. So I realized I didn't film that part, so I needed to tell you. So once that has done and I've gotten the handle mostly secured, I do add some glue on the side of it. And to add a little bit more security and a little bit of cuteness, I'm going to add a bit of twine to wrap around his neck. I'm going to make it a little bow tie. Don't worry, it's not like he's just going to have a random piece of twine around him. But I am going to use that to kind of hold on to that handle as well, just because I was like, well, I don't know that the glue, obviously the E6000 hasn't dried yet, and I want to make sure that that guy is secure. So I'll put down some hot glue to hold that twine in place a little bit, and I'll probably, even now that I'm thinking about it, go back and add some more glue on top of it too. And I'm going to use these little embellishments. I'm going to paint the eggs, use some stuff like that for the basket. And there it is. So stinking cute. I can't help. So I need to tell you a little bit about our collab today. This collab's actually with Corie from Crafted by Corie. And I tell you what, I can't say enough good things about her. She is amazing. I mean, amazing crafter, amazing person, just sweetest person you could hope to meet. She does a lot of really fun DIYs, leaning towards the farmhouse direction, but does the cutest stuff. She has a minis challenge that she hosts on her channel every month, which is adorable. So please make sure that you go check her out and her video out. I'll have it linked for you below and also up in the iCards. And tell her I sent you if you go over. And we're going to go ahead and get back into the crafting. So next one we're going to move on to is we're going to take one of these little, wood box things from Dollar Tree and paint it with plaster from Waverly. And now I'm going to just draw on my lines. And I do a really good job keeping them straight until the very last one, of course, right? Isn't that the way of it? So I'm just using my ruler, lining it up with the edge. And you guys know how I am with lines. I'm not very good at them. So of course, it's like I did such a good job, I think, on the first ones. And then this one right here, I was like, well, let me make it off a little bit as far as, not being all the way the same size. And of course it's a little slanted, but that's all right. It's going to be at the bottom, so hopefully it's not as noticeable. I'm going to go in with the same plaster colored paint and go over the lines a little bit, just because I don't really want to say camouflage, but you know what I mean. I want them to dull down a little bit. And I'm also going to take my finger sander. I'll have that little guy linked for you below. It's from Target, that I found it at least. And I'm just going to kind of scrape off some of it off of those lines. A couple of spots looked really dark, like the black Sharpie part looked pretty dark. And I didn't do anything to the sides as far as like paint, but I am just going to go ahead and rough it up a little bit. And just so you know, oh, there's my little ladybug. I did sand off that thing to start off with. So I'm going to put down my decal. No need to see that. And I've got another one. This is to make a little sign for a bunny to hold. It says, "Here, bunny, bunny, bunny." I thought it was funny. So I can't help myself sometimes. So I'm just going to take that. That was actually just a piece of one of the little tags, and I just cut off the edge. So I am going to use this little basket I have painted from a previous DIY, and it is just a black matte spray paint. So we're going to glue the back part of the sign down onto that rim. Hold on to it for just a minute because you want your glue to set up. And I'm guessing, I didn't try it out, mind you, but I'm guessing that is probably not enough to hold on to it. So I add another layer of glue, and obviously you can see it drips all over the place. And then I'm going to add just a really small skewer to it to kind of add, just give it some more area to hold on to, really. Hold it just for a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and lay it down. And I'm going to try to get some more things to secure it. So I'm really worried that it's not going to stay. And then, of course, this glue stick was too big, or glue gun was too big to fit in that little spot. So I'm just going to add some glue to a thicker dowel and put it on the bottom side. Obviously, that doesn't look real cute, but I'm not too concerned about it because that is on the underside of it. You really won't see it from the angle that you're going to look at this basket. So we're just going to glue it in there, and I'm going to add some more glue on top for additional security because we're just gluing the heck out of this thing. And see, it's kind of holding still, you know, it's holding on, but I'm still afraid it's going to end up toppling over. So I'm just going to add another piece of wood. I'm going to just add just this piece of paint stir stick that I cut down using my miter shears. I'm going to link those for you below as well. So now we've got the basket done. I was trying to figure out how to put it down. I'm going to start to work on the rest. And as you can see, it needs some weight in the basket. So I have some rocks in there. I know, so strange. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue down on this little galvanized bunny. He's from another sign off a Dollar Tree. He's going to be holding this lovely little sign for his, you know, bunny mate or something. I don't know. I don't know why I came up with that little story in my mind. I was like, oh, he's trying to attract another bunny. He needs a girlfriend bunny. Or a boyfriend bunny. I'm really not sure what he is. I should probably add a bow somewhere to depict whether he's a boy or a girl bunny. All right, so back to the craft. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work on placement for this little guy, and I want to still be able to see my words. Obviously, I mean, you go to the trouble of putting words on something, you want to be able to see them. And by the way, that font is from DaFont. It's called Magnolia. It's super cute. And so I'm going to start filling up my basket. Pretty simple. I was originally going to make a carrot and it turned out horrible. So I'm just going to put these ones that I got from the dollar spot at Target. They're really cute. I grabbed every color they had and they're adorable. Isn't it adorable though? I mean, come on. How cute is that? So we're going to actually start out with some pumpkins from Dollar Tree. I paint all three of them in plaster from Waverly. And I did sand them down too. I sanded around, kind of rounding out those sharper edges to give them more of an egg shape-ish. I know they're not really egg-shaped, but they're rustic and they're primitive. So that's where I was going with it. I cut out these stencils off of my Cricut. They're just a, you know, little stencil, or not a stencil, but they're a, you know, a thing that's available on Cricut Design Space. I'll link it for you below if you have their access there. Not, they are free if you have the access, if you pay for it, you know what I mean. But I'm going to just put them all down, and I don't know why I was like so particular on this one. I tried to like really fix it down. I taped around where any of the little dots were, and I think what ended up making it, I mean, I don't end up using a little sponge brush. I do end up using a regular brush, but I probably could have skipped this. So if you make these, you can probably skip this. I was actually looking for stencils from Dollar Tree that actually had you know, different patterns and stuff to use, and I couldn't find any, so I made my own. So I'm going to start off on the very first one. We're using this kind of the same colors that we used on the first project's eggs, and this is just going to be the lavender color from Waverly. I don't recall the exact name of it. I will link it for you below, or not link it, but I'll list it for you. If you're ever curious about that, about the paint colors or supplies or anything like that, I always have them listed at the very least, or a lot of times if it's like an Amazon thing, I'll link it for you as well, like a lot of my tools and all that. You guys know I love my tools, so I link them for you below. If it's an Amazon link, it's typically an affiliate link, and I certainly appreciate if you guys use it. If you don't, it's not a big deal. It doesn't cost anything extra for you. So with that little disclaimer out of the way, like I said, I'm just kind of dabbing at these little spots. I'm trying really hard not to brush it because I'm trying to obviously keep it from bleeding over into the bottom part. And now we are going to go through the longest process of taking off a stencil. This thing gave me so much problems. I taped it down in way too many places, and it's funny, I still ended up with a few little bleeds. So not too bad, but just a few. So like I said, longest process ever. So I'm just going to skip ahead and get off the majority of it off camera. And now we'll start to actually peel it back and get a little bit of that satisfying moment of peeling off painter's tape and stencil vinyl. And like I said, it's just like this thing was on there. And like I said, I still got bleeds, which was crazy. So I'm glad that I made sure that the paint was mostly dry, because otherwise I was afraid I probably would have ruined it if I had done it when it was really wet. So here's that one all finished. I did the other two as well, but I'm just showing you this one for now. And I'm going to add just a little bit of distressing on the edges of this, because I am going to make this one a reversible pumpkin, not a pumpkin egg. See, even I still think they look like pumpkins a little bit. But anyways, I'm going to make this a reversible egg. And so I'm just going to, of course, add the antique wax all along the other side. This is going to be kind of like one side's really traditional Easter, one side's a lot more neutral farmhouse Easter. If I make everything like neutral farmhouse, my kids and my husband will get upset. They're like, look, this isn't the right colors for this season or holiday. So I cut this little strip of ribbon. I got that one from Joann's, and it's really pretty. It's like this dusty pink rose color. So I just went ahead and cut it and glued it down to our egg. And now I'm going to use a couple of pieces of a floral pick. So I've got these little leaves. I went ahead and just arranged those, and I'm going to add just a little sprig of lavender. And it was still missing something, so I am going to add a little bit of a jute bow as well. Now, when I make my little jute bows, I glue them together. I don't use the twine to try and get it to stay. I just go in it with some glue. So, and of course, it's like this thing didn't want to work out for me, so I had to like chop it off and start again. And did I show you starting again? I thought I did, but oh, yep, here we go. See, I'm making the bow right now off camera because, of course, who wouldn't want to watch that? So here it is, since I had to chop off that other piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that little bow in, and someday it'll be done. There we go, all finished. So here is the final look between both sets of eggs. I think they're really cute. I actually kind of like the colorful ones. They're kind of fun. So on this next project, we are going to start off with one of these window panes and a bunny. So we do a coat of the folk art wood tint in walnut, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of dry brushing of that plaster color from Waverly. I focused in a little bit more than I probably should have on the ears, and I wanted to give a nice little dusting of it onto the tail because, of course, bunnies have fluffy tails, so everybody knows that. Gosh. All right, so once that's all finished, he needed a little something extra. And I'm just going to take a couple of pieces off of this rub-on transfer set from Dollar Tree. Obviously, you can see I've already used the reef. I actually did one of these little bunnies with a reef on him on a previous video. I will link it for you. It was a really cute project. I'll definitely have to, I suggest checking it out if you haven't already. So we're just going to put that down there. I like to use the end of this little scraper. I know it's a very technical use for this. That's not even a craft tool. That little thing I use to push down my hot glue, and it is actually a face mask applicator, I think. You know how it is. We crafters, we find all kinds of different uses for different things. So I'm gonna put a little bee on the middle. I don't know, it might be for Teresa Bee, it might be for Bunny, but you know, you just make up your own thing, you know, if you end up making this project. So now that all those are on there, we're going to go ahead and put him back on his little window. And I actually did a coating of the antique wax on the window just to kind of bring out some more of that faux wood grain. It's definitely got like a little bit of a grain to it, even though it's plastic. I mean, and it's like cheap plastic. So be careful with that thing. Don't scrape it up because it'll scrape up really easy. And now it of course needs a stand. So we're just going to add some hot glue. And this is just a little thing I had left over from another project, I think from Christmas time. So, and I'm just going to make sure that it is on there mostly straight at least. And here it is, all finished. He's really cute. It's really, really cute. So next project we're doing, don't blink, it's going to be really fast. I'm just going to put on this stencil. I'll link it for you below. I made it on my Cricut. And then I'm just basically putting this one on and another one. These little blocks are from Dollar Tree as well. And here they are, a little Rae Dunn inspired project for you. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you have, don't forget to if you haven't, and make sure you check out Corie's video. I got a quick little peek at it and it is going to blow your mind. So please make sure you go check it out, and I will see you guys next time.